Hello, YouTube. How y'all doing today? Hello, I am Queen Lillie. Welcome to my live. We will be discussing Donald Trump and the Epstein files. Today, the biggest news is some of the victims spoke. They spoke in front of the White House. And it was quite strange that military planes, jets, continued to fly over while the victims were speaking. I think that was rather strategic, Donald Trump, to stop the voices of the victims. Because why would military planes be flying over the White House while the victims are out there telling their stories? Why, Donald Trump? You could have picked a different time. That was strategic. And I'm questioning Marjorie Taylor Greene and Mace and the Boer woman from Congress. I'm questioning them. I hope they are truly sincere and really want to help the victims. But something in my heart is telling me not to trust them. They are MAGA. They are MAGA Republicans. The victims, survivors, poured out their heart today. It's nothing to take for granted or to play with. I don't trust Marjorie Taylor Greene right now at all. I don't trust Boer. I don't trust Mace. Although Mace was crying when she was walking out of there, hearing the victims, the survivors' testimony of what Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell has done to them. But I can't trust them. Anybody a part of MAGA, you better not trust them. They're loyal to Donald Trump. They are not loyal to America. Again, I am Queen Lillie. Welcome to my live. Hit that like button as you come in. Please hit the like button as you are coming in to watch my show today. We got a lot to cover. Also, if you're feeling jolly and you want to support me on this day, God's day, every day is God's day, you can send me super stickers and super chats. In my description is my Venmo. So if you want to send me something through Venmo, it is welcome as well if you have Venmo. If you want to send me something through PayPal, my PayPal link is in the description. So if you want to bless me, bless me. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Hey, Queen Victorious One. How you doing today, Queen? I hope you're having a beautiful day. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Hit that like button as you're coming in. Whew. I have the air on and my allergies been acting up and I had it on all day. So I put on a little jacket because I can't take the heat. I can't take the cold. So I got to keep the air on with a little jacket on today. But it's so much happening with the Epstein situation. You're going to hear a survivor that's actually a content creator. You're going to listen to her. They're going to talk about, I'm going to read a couple things to y'all. Article about the Trump regime ordered fire jets to fly over D.C. while Epstein victims held a press conference because of course they would. Why did Donald Trump do it? Because he would. He feels he can do whatever he want to do. Not that it's going to help us Americans, but that's how Donald Trump feels. He's not concerned about anybody else's feelings. He's pissed, more than likely, with the survivors that spoke today. Pam Bundy, I think she's in the hot seat. It's a shame she's a woman, but she does not, in my opinion, stand behind the survivors. She stands behind a convicted SAer, Donald Trump. She stands behind men that take advantage of females. That's in my opinion. The predators are being protected. That's a fact. No one in the MAGA Republican Party truly cares about the survivors. Because if they did, they would have said to Donald Trump and Pam Bundy and Kash Patel, we don't care to send Donald Trump's attorney to speak to Ghislaine Maxwell. But they backed and supported Donald Trump in his wrongdoing. The walls are closing in on Donald Trump. So that's why that stunt with the military jets was pulled today. He showed no respect to those survivors by sending military jets over them at their news conference. Hit that like button as y'all coming in, please. Hit the like button. We got a lot to cover. We got a lot to cover. Epstein survivors. And the message one of the Epstein survivor had to send to Trump was, this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. Treat them as that. When women tell you someone has essayed them, believe them. I know there's probably instances where people have not been truthful, but believe them first. Hear them out. But for the longest, those survivors were not heard. And I'm afraid that somebody in that MAGA Republican Party of those 3 Caucasian women only doing it for a stunt. That's just my opinion. We're going to go ahead and get started, y'all, because this is rather painful for me. I'm an SA survivor. So it's rather painful for me. But because I believe in the fight, I can do this. So you're going to hear from a young lady, Christina Talks Tea. She's a survivor as well. And to watch her cry, it crushes me. So it took me a while to come on here and go live because I planned on going live at 7 o'clock. But I had to pull myself together to come on this live. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I love you guys. Hit the like button.
Well, it's Wednesday, baby. Full transparency. I did not get any sleep last night. I'm having a rough day, so I'm going to do my best to get on here and talk to you.
Fair use, great for educational purpose.
I just want to thank the survivors.
Research purpose.
I don't want to use the word victims, baby.
Entertainment purpose. We are doing research today.
I want to thank you for having the courage to do what is very hard for most of us to do. And I understand, trust me, baby, I understand how hard that was for you because I do it all of the time. I try my best to share my story and be as open as I can in the hopes that it will help heal me and heal others too. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Bear with me. Now, yesterday, I was triggered by Nancy Mace. So, Nancy, come to the front, baby. And you too, Margaret Taylor Greene. And Lauren Boebert, both of y'all come to the front, honey, because we got to talk. I'm thankful that you decided to cross the aisle and stand with the survivors. But I need to know.
Is it real?
I need to know it's not all just a show. I need to know it's real. So you're going to have to answer a question for me today to prove to me that y'all aren't just Republicans pulling stunts for the TV.
They're pulling stunts, in my opinion.
I need to know. I need to know. And I'm sure
they
the rest
need
of the world
they
does
want to be
too.
voted back in.
I need to know, baby. Why do some survivors and victims matter to you and not others? I need you to explain to me and the rest of the world today why Katie Johnson's testimony doesn't matter to you. She was 13. And Epstein and Donald Trump both did that to her. How come her testimony doesn't matter to you? I need you to explain to me why you can't believe the things that E. Jean Carroll had to say. I need you to explain expeditiously why the 23 other women and their testimonies and their stories don't matter to you. Did you just put on a fucking show for the world to see, or do you really fucking care about people like me? explain yourself. Now, answer the question. Answer the question. Because if you can't believe those victims too, then you believe none of us. It's all of us and none of us. You can't pick and choose who you believe. It's all of us and none of us. Well, it's Wednesday, baby, full trans.
I'm not trusting Marjorie Taylor Greene. No, I don't trust her with the survivors. I don't. She has been wanting to put them knee pads on for Donald Trump a long, long time. I don't trust her. I don't trust Mace or Bowen either. Because they have stood by Donald Trump and believed everything that creature has said. Why now? The 2026 midterms election is coming. Marjorie Taylor Greene don't want to lose her seat. Mace is running for governor in South Carolina. God, Jesus, fix it. Bower, I don't trust her neither. Just another stunt in my opinion. But we're going to move along. We're not going to lie in that for a long time. We're going to move along. So I'm going to read to you guys what is being said by Ranch Ring Watch. The Trump regime ordered fighter jets to fly over D.C. while Epstein survivors held a press conference because, of course, they would. That's something that Donnie would do. He always pulling stunts. He want to take away from others because Donnie has to be the star of everything. So, survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's horrific abuse stood barely on Capitol Hill today, joined by Representatives Ro Khanna, Thomas Macy, and Marjorie Taylor Greene to demand the full release of Epstein files. The press conference, a powerful call for transparency and justice, was overshadowed by the deafening fighter jet flyovers that roared over Washington, D.C., forcing survivors to pause their heartfelt testimonies. Organized to support the Epstein Files Transparency Act, the event featured survivors like Marina Lacerda, who spoke publicly for the first time about the nightmare she endured from Epstein. Chante Davis revealed Epstein boasts of close ties to Donald Trump, spotlighting the former president's connection to the disgraced financier. The survivors' coverage was palpable. Yet, timing of the F-16 and the F-15 flyovers felt like a deliberate attempt to drown out their voices, and that's what it was. The Trump administration weary of renewed scrutiny over Epstein files, Trump's own documented ties to him, including multiple flights on Epstein's private jet, seems desperate to suppress the truth. The flyovers symbolize a regime more interested in spectacle than accountability, silencing survivors to protect powerful figures. As Rep. Khanna noted, the Justice Department released 33,000 pages, that's 97% of which were already public, shows their stonewalling. Survivors like Lisa Phillips emphasize their fear of retaliation, yet their resolve to comply. A list of Epstein's associates grow stronger, with the few Republican courageous enough to support the transparency bill. defy the Trump regime. The fight for justice grows stronger. The Trump regime's tactics only fuel the survivors' determination in hours to expose the truth and hold the powerful accountable. That has been hard in this moment. One moment, please. Just a moment, everybody. Okay, I'm back. The survivors and the victims feel unheard. That is what's happening. Why send military jets to drown out their voices when they already feel their voices have been drowned out? So, breaking. Massive bombshell drops into Jeffrey Epstein scandal as newly released footage destroys Attorney General Pam Bundy's lie about the missing prison footage and reveals guards in the facility. I don't trust Pam Bundy. Y'all know I don't. I don't trust Kash Patel. I don't trust Donald Trump. But I'm going to have faith and believe these survivors. Because Donald Trump didn't care to listen to the survivors. What did he do? He sent his attorney, his personal attorney that they have made assistant attorney general, to speak with Miss Maxwell. Still hadn't spoke with the victims. The survivor moved her to a low-risk security prison in Texas. Not caring. I got to text somebody back. This is important. Somebody went in the hospital today. Give me one moment, please. Okay, I'm back. I apologize for that. I have a lot going on in my personal life. A friend of mine, she's in the hospital. So bear with me today, okay? And then listening to the victims, it did make me a little sad, but I got to continue. I'm going to continue with this because I myself is a survivor. This is my book, The Purple Cinderella. Surviving Multiple Childhood, RAPISTS. That is me. So bear with me today. I got a lot going on, but because I love y'all and I like to come on here and do my commentary on politics, I'm going to make it through it. I know I sound different today, but bear with me because I've been emotional today. But we're going to be okay. So I'm going to let y'all listen to some of the victims conference, okay? One moment. I love you guys. Thank you for coming to my live. I am Queen Lillie. Please hit the like button. Let me clean my screen. One moment. I love you.
Establishment is asking the American public to believe something that is not believable. They're asking you to believe that two individuals created hundreds of victims and they acted alone, and that the DOJ has no idea of who else might have been involved, that nobody else did anything that rose to a criminal enterprise. The American people know that's not true. Now, the Speaker of the House just offered a fig leaf to my colleagues. They're going to vote on a non-binding resolution today that does absolutely nothing. I appreciate the efforts of my colleague James Comer, who's leading the Oversight Committee. They may find some information, but they're allowing the DOJ to curate all of the information that the DOJ is giving them. If you've looked at the pages they've released so far, they're heavily redacted. Some pages are entirely redacted. And 97% of this is already in the public domain. So I'm calling on my colleagues. Be one of the next two who sponsors this discharge petition. I think it's shameful that this has been called a hoax. Hopefully today we can clear that up. This is not a hoax. This is real. There are real survivors. There are real victims to this criminal enterprise. and the perpetrators are being protected because they're rich and powerful and political donors to the establishment here in Washington, D.C. So today we're standing with these survivors and we're giving them a voice, and I want to close by thanking them. They are brave. I hope they encourage other survivors to come forward. The Washington establishment is asking the American public to believe something that is not believable. They're asking...
It's believable. Believe them when they tell you. That's all I can say. Believe them. Those women were brave to get up there and give their testimonies, while others may be in disbelief because they haven't experienced it or they have accepted it in their households. A lot of things in life today, people look at it as normal. It's okay. And if it happened to one of their family members, living proof of it, the family will sweep it under the rug. Thank you, Queen Victorious One. I love you, baby. Thank you so much. We're going to move along. Hit the like button as you're coming in. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can send me super chats and super stickers. In my description is my Venmo. So if you want to support me, you have Venmo. That's the way you can bless me as well. Also, my PayPal link is in the description. So if you want to send me something through PayPal and you have PayPal, thank you. Send me a token of love. So, I have another, let me make sure I'm not reading the same thing again. If I was a Jeffrey Epstein, hold on. Okay, it's two different articles. I don't want to read the same article over and over to you, okay? But it says, walls close in on Donald Trump as Representative Thomas Macy files discharge petition to force release of the Epstein files. We need people fighting for us, and we need our men to stand by us for this fight. So this is what the article says. A Republican congressman who is spearheading the push on the right for the Trump administration to release the entirety of the federal government's investigation into Epstein made it clear on Thursday that it will be top on the agenda as Congress returns. Thomas Massey, a Kentucky representative with a history of clashing with the president in his party, wrote on X that he planned to file a discharge petition forcing a vote on the matter in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. When the House gavels back into session, lawmakers spent the month of August on their yearly summer recess, during which many members returned home to their districts to meet with constituents. That recess was called early by Speaker Mike Johnson, Grinder, to block Macy from filing his petition in late July. He says, I am in D.C. and I will file the discharge petition today, September the 2nd, at approximately 2 p.m. when Congress officially returns from the August recess. Macy posted, at that moment, we can begin collecting the 218 signatures necessary to force a vote on building legislation to release the Epstein files. Johnson previously called the move by Macy a charade. It's not a charade. Mike Johnson is always going to protect Donald Trump. Macy is joined in leading the petition by Ro Khanna, a Democratic congressman from California. As the House called recess in July, the two pledged to I can't say the word. The issue once Congress returns. Relegate the issues once Congress returns. GOP leadership is unlikely to escape an embarrassing vote on the issue in the days ahead if public interest in the investigation retains any of the same potency it exhibited earlier in the summer. Johnson was simultaneously facing efforts by Democrats to force votes on Epstein-related amendments in the Rules Committee, as well as efforts by the House Oversight Committee to obtain the files. A rare area where the Speaker has been forced to break from Donald Trump and support calls from the files to be released to the House top investigative body. Mike Johnson, even though he works for us, the American people, his loyalty is with Donald Trump. He doesn't care. In my opinion, he doesn't care about the victims. Asking him to do something, you're talking to a wall. You remember that time when Donald Trump was walking and he was walking into a wall and Mike Johnson had to stop him? That's where we are right now. One moment, please. How y'all doing out there today? Hit that like button. So we're going to hear more from the survivors' testimonies.
For the survivors, Mr. Edwards, the president has said that this Epstein issue is a hoax, is the words that he used. Can we get your reactions to what you think when you hear him say that?
I'll answer that. Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is real trauma.
The question would be for the survivors, Mr. Edwards. The president has said that this Epstein issue is a hoax, is the words that he used. Can we get your reactions to what you think when you hear him say that?
I'll answer that. Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is...
You beautiful kings and queens, do y'all recall Donald Trump said it's a hoax created by the Democrats? Well, Donnie, these are human beings that are survivors of Epstein. And one of them mentioned your name in affiliation as an associate of Jeffrey Epstein. It's not a hoax. It's real. They're real human beings with testimonies.
I think it's shameful that this has been called a hoax. Hopefully today we can clear that up. This is not a hoax. This is real. There are real survivors. There are real victims to this criminal enterprise. And the perpetrators are being protected because they're rich and powerful and political donors to the establishment here in Washington, D.C. I think it's shameful that this has been called a hoax.
It is shameful. The person that's supposed to lead our country stood before us and said it is a hoax that was created by the Democrats. He blamed President Barack Obama. He blamed President Joe Biden. Why? For his shortcomings. Because Donald Trump is all over the Epstein files. They had 1,000 FBI agents to go through the Epstein files and redact Donald Trump out of it. And they sent the Democrats and the rest of Congress 33,000 pages. And guess what? Only 1,000 of those were they able to use. They sent them things I have shown you on my channel. That's the regime, the Donald Trump regime. They are con people. They are pulling a con stunt on America. Donald Trump pulled fraud, and that's why he has 34 felonies. Are you going to believe these testimonies from the victims, or you're going to listen to a con man, a criminal who put his mugshot in the Oval Office, who brags about being a criminal? The white man, Donald Trump, the crook.
He surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually.
Donald Trump, you in the Epstein files. A victim mentioned you today. One of Epstein's survivors just mentioned you. It's a net flying in here, y'all, and it keep flying in my hair because my hair smells good. And I've been trying to get that thing all day. You know how you trying to, you know what I'm saying? Nets would drive you crazy.
Horrified when I found out not only had Ghislaine Maxwell been transferred to what's called a low security. It's really is like a holiday camp, and then afterwards I got a notification from the Department of Justice telling me that this was going to happen when it had already happened. This woman abused children.
That was done deliberately.
And Ghislaine Maxwell for over 10 years. Ghislaine Maxwell was present for some of my abuse at the hand of Jeffrey Epstein. She was present, she was complicit, she was enabling, and it is appalling and disgusting. And it's one of my worst nightmares that she not only be transferred, but at the possibility that's very much going around that she might be pardoned. This is not okay, guys. This is not okay.
And I just want to add that I think it sends a very dangerous message to our country, to the young people in our country, that someone that we all know is aware of these crimes could be given a pass.
And just for the last survivor who just spoke, she said that Epstein would brag about her relationship with Donald Trump. Could you please elaborate about that?
Shut it.
To the microphone.
Yeah, I did say that.
Donald Trump want to drown out the survivors' testimonies. He sent military jets.
My first trip to the Palm Beach residence, I drove there from the airport with Ghislaine Maxwell, and Jeffrey and Ghislaine were always very boastful about their friends.
I was horrified when I found out not only had Ghislaine Maxwell been transferred to what's called a low security. It's really is like a holiday camp. And then afterwards, I got a notification from the Department of Justice telling me that this was going to happen when it had already happened. This woman abused children.
Donald Trump pulled a stunt to distract and drown out the voices of survivors. That's who y'all voted in there. He's childish. He's fat. He smells. He wears a diaper. He wears a girdle. He wears makeup. He wears hair pieces. He wears heels inside his shoes to make him appear taller than what he actually is. Donald Trump, in my opinion, you are a drag queen. You should no longer talk about drag queens when you wear all the things that a drag queen wears, baby.
So much. And first of all, let me just say that we are standing before you. We're having this conversation because of the oversight Democratic leadership. And so I want to
Jasmine Crockett is so pretty.
It's the
Queen
Democratic
Jasmine
leadership on oversight that has truly been able to move this forward. I'm sure many of you don't recall, but we were sent home early to try to avoid being able to take a vote on something.
Hit the
like
like button,
these
please.
files.
Thank you.
We are about doing real transparency. We don't care who's in the files. We are going after you. So if I had to sum up what happened today, we heard the stories of victims, and honestly, we heard the story of at least one person that has never come forward before today. This was the very first time that she was telling anyone in a semi-public way her story. And if I had to summarize the theme, I would say that their theme was to do something. It is probably the theme of the American people in general right now when it comes to government, is that they want us to do something. So yes, we had the roundtable, but they actually want to see some action. The fact that this started off in the 90s, and we had someone who could talk about what happened to them in the 90s, but then you go down the line and you've got somebody that's telling us their story from 2008. These failures led to years and years of abuse that did not have to take place. And so the reality is this: some think that this is all over, and some think that nothing else is going on. But if there was ever a RICO case, it would have been the Epstein case. So how we went from something that should have been RICO because of how sophisticated of a system this was, and this wasn't just one little sick old man that was doing stuff, but there were so many layers, whether we're talking about the banks that were involved, whether we're talking about those that worked for him, that helped him, whether we're talking about the monster known as Maxwell, and that's exactly how y'all need to refer to her. She is a monster. She is not a victim. So let me tell you, I want some action items to come out of this, because for once we somewhat look like we're bipartisan in the Oversight Committee. Number one, we need answers. We need answers on why it is that Maxwell was transferred from her current station or her former station in Florida down to Texas. We need to have an understanding, because everything that
we need an understanding here in this country
leads me to know that for sure she was all up and in and through this entire process. Not to mention that she was indicted by a jury of her peers, and then she was tried and convicted and given 20 years. So why is it that we had somebody, again, it almost seems like we are doomed to repeat our failures? Because why is it we have high-level people that seemingly are running cover for a criminal? And that is what she is. She is a monster, and she is a criminal. So number one, we need answers on what happened with that transfer, why it took place, and honestly, we all need to stand together and say that Maxwell needs to go back to where the monsters go, which is to a higher level of security. We also need to understand that Debbie Wasserman Schultz has legislation that she has been trying to push forward. And so in a bipartisan way, we all need to get behind Debbie, because we found, and what we learned is that there were loopholes as it relates to the Crime Victims Act. And so we've got to make sure that no other victims suffer in the way that they did when you have somebody like Alex Acosta that decides that he wants to play games and dismiss a case and never inform the victims of what's going on, as is required.
That's exactly what they did.
We're going to have to fix those loopholes to make sure that that doesn't happen, because it took them 2
Our
years
Congress people have
this,
become fixers for criminals.
By the time they got to the end of it, well, it also
they are
was
handlers
Jeffrey
for
Epstein's
criminals.
and so there was not a resolution for that. And the final thing that I think that we need to do is, obviously, we need to continue to push forward and make sure that we get all the files, because we know that we have not received them all. Because I am standing in front of the press, I'm also going to make a plea. One of the things that I realized was that there's a lot of stuff that the DOJ may have, but honestly, if you don't have a thorough investigation, and I can't say if we had a thorough investigation or not, we have no idea. But the reality is that when you have investigators that go out and they collect information. I am not necessarily convinced that they even have gone out.
They haven't. They're protecting Trump. That's their only goal
in the first place. So if there's anyone in the public that believes that you have information that would be valuable, you've never been able to get through to federal agencies, or no one would listen to you when you try to go forward and bring information forward, I am asking that you trust Oversight Dems and you bring that information to us. Or if you know where some information is contained, let us know so that we can then send subpoenas out that way. We want to do right not only by those that have already suffered under Epstein, but we want to prevent other trafficking rings that we know are out there. We want to make sure that we are doing right for future generations. Thank you so much. And first of all, let me just say that
This is not an easy subject for me to talk about. I value what Queen Jasmine Crockett has to say. Listen to the victims. Donald Trump is guilty on so many levels. So many levels. Why send military jets over the conference outside where the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and others are giving a testimony? It was a stunt from the MAGA Republican Party. A lousy one that did not work because you didn't drown them out.
Stand together as a mosaic of stories, but we're also finding our way back to ourselves. We are reclaiming the fragmented shards of the hopes and dreams of our past to paint a better future for the next generation of women. This story has come to Washington to be told. We will be heard. Thank you. We stand together as a mosaic of stories.
I stand with all those victims. I understand their pain. I understand their plight. Even if you're not a survivor, a SA, find it in your heart to understand each of them, to understand me and many others.
I want to say that I'm truly stunned by what I heard today. And what we heard today is from a half dozen victims, some of whom have already pursued both civil and criminal suits against both Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, as well as from several who have never told their stories in public before. But I want to be clear that what we heard today is a cover-up. And it is a cover-up of epic proportions, a cover-up involving the United States government, the justice system, rich and powerful individuals, a cover-up potentially involving foreign countries and foreign actors. And yes, here today in this House, as our colleagues are up in the House chamber in the Rules Committee, a cover-up by the Republicans in this chamber. Because as you will find out in the coming days and weeks, this goes all the way to the top. So let's be clear about
I love this woman.
There has been a systemic failure of the justice system for decades. A systemic failure to hold people who are powerful and have money to account, and that has allowed not just hundreds but potentially thousands of women, not only in the United States but around the world, to be bought, sold, and trafficked for sex, not only by Jeffrey Epstein but by his associates and his rich and powerful friends. And as these stories come forward, whether they're stories that have already been told, they're stories in those FBI files that have not been released by the Department of Justice and which they must release because of the subpoena, or whether they are stories of victims that have not yet come forward, we will hold you all accountable for this miscarriage of justice, for the abuse of these women and the abuse of this institution to try to cover it up. Because there happens to be a very powerful person at the top who doesn't want these stories out. So that is why we subpoenaed these records. That is why these victims were here today to bravely tell their stories. And whatever justice looks like in the coming days and weeks and years, we will follow every thread. We will follow every piece of evidence. We will follow every bank record. We will follow every investigation. We will follow every court order. And we will make sure that those who were abused by these men are held accountable. And I want to say that I'm truly...
Her message, it was so powerful. It goes all the way up to the top. Who's at the top? Donald J. Trump. Who's in the Epstein files? Donald J. Trump. Who's not in the Epstein files? President Barack Obama. Who's not in the Epstein files? President Joe Biden. For many, many years and months. MAGA has went as far to take photos and edit them to make President Joe Biden look like he is a pedo when their leader, Donald J. Trump, is the worst of them all. They edited videos to make President Joe Biden look like a pedo when their leader is the biggest SA survivor there is with 34 felonies. Again, who's not in the Epstein files? President Barack Obama. Who's not in the Epstein files? President Joe Biden. But who is in the Epstein files? Donald J. Trump, the biggest pervert in this country. He's a creep. Isn't that what you call Epstein, Donnie?
Nothing. But now, I'm gonna make the European tell it. Beautiful, aren't they? See, my ancestors, we didn't build these empires, we took them. We took the knowledge, the symbols, the legacy. But the irony, it's still theirs, no matter how many flags we raise. You see, we didn't build this, we acquired it. We set out to destroy the originals and their history. To erase them. We laid genocide upon genocide, burned the bloodlines to ash, those crowned in light.
Hit the like button, please. Thank you.
Hung, drowned, labeled witches. And in their place, we painted ourselves the savior. The truth can only be buried for so long. The Vatican must speak before our so-called dominion. There were the originals, and their flame still burns. They didn't lose it all. They gave it away. Some of their own Moorish blood sold them out. Gold for titles, secrets for seats at new tables. And let it be known, not all with dark Moorish skin carry the same light as the originals. What if I told you we weren't born to rule? The fallen, the Archonic Atlanteans, they wanted a race. They wanted a race to rule in their name. And they made us. And when it was complete, they didn't just inherit kingdoms, they inherited the world. But every experiment leaves residues. Is what we keep hidden deep beneath the Vatican. Not relics of faith, but relics of design. Conquest never started with swords. It had started in labs, across islands, across continents, experiments, divisions, creation by design. Not evolution. Every empire, every dynasty believes it rose by divine right. But the truth, pacts were made, alliances forged with those beneath the surface. Gold, jewels, thrones, bought at the price of their own blood. We still report to those who made us. It was the old ones, the architects of empire, that granted us the right to rule. We build nothing. But now, I'm gonna make the European tell it. Beautiful, aren't they? See my...
Why did I show y'all that? As you all know, I've been saying for the longest, who's going to destroy this country? Who is going to destroy America? The greed of the white man. The white man is destroying this country. Where everything was privileged and taking from my people. The white man stood on a pedestal after he has stolen from everybody of color. The white man, Donald J. Trump, is the Antichrist, Satan, in my opinion. He stands in that White House, the biggest plantation in America. He stands proud, and that's what's going to destroy him. Him standing there proud with all that white greed. Him standing there proud, and he's a SA abuser. He grabbed him by the PUSSY while he stands there on a high, floating in the clouds. Death is at his door, and hell has the door held wide open for him. Kick him down there. Kick him so hard that he is suffering from all the SA's abusers, all the SA survivors out there. He's feeling their pain. Kick him so hard to HELL that every pain that those women spoke of today while giving their testimonies, Donald Trump feels it. It haunts him tonight in his bed. May he stay up on True Social, scared to go to sleep, because the pain those victims feel, Donald Trump gonna feel it 10 times from each of them. And my ancestors are whipping his tail day in and day out. The black ancestors are whipping Donald Trump's tail day in and day out. Now, the victims' testimonies from today and yesterday. 10 spoke yesterday, but 6 spoke out at the White House today. May hell burn his insides. May the ancestors haunt him all through the days of his life until he's gone and thrown in the ground, right beside his first wife, with no tombstone. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Good afternoon, everyone. We just spent more than 2 hours with 6 of the Epstein victims, some of the bravest women I've ever met. They're very courageous. I would describe it as heartbreaking and infuriating.
But what are you going to
Justice
do?
has been delayed so long. Some of the women in the room began
He's
to be
going to
groomed
continue
by
to
Epstein
protect
and his
Trump.
accomplices, Elaine Maxwell
Hit
and
the
the
like
others,
button, please.
30
Thank
years
you.
ago. The objective here is not just to uncover, investigate the Epstein evils, but also to ensure that this never happens again, and ultimately to find out why justice has been delayed for these ladies for so very long. It is inexcusable, and it will stop now because the Congress is dialed in on this.
The victims themselves have stated that this is a lot bigger than I think anyone anticipated. We are obviously going to be requesting the SARS reports from Treasury, and also too following up on that. There's some very rich and powerful people that need to go to jail. One of them said something to the effect of, either you all are all very serious and honest about this, or you're very good actors. We gonna find out who's real, and we're gonna find out who the real actors are.
For people that would wonder, how high are the stakes here? This is a matter of life and death. Because Virginia Jeffrey took her life after decades
She's
of failure.
beautiful.
And victims
That's
that
a
can
beautiful
no
queen.
longer come forward because they're in a fetal position.
Look
so
at that
broken
beautiful skin.
by the weight of what they've been carrying, shame that they've
Beautiful.
been carrying when it is not their shame to carry.
It is not their shame to carry. You know whose shame it should be to carry? Donald Trump. Katie Johnson was 13 years old. If you have my membership, you can go read her court documents. Katie Johnson versus Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey E. Epstein. Again, Katie Johnson versus Donald J. Trump and Jeffrey E. Epstein was the case. Yeah. 13 years old. This is America, full of sin, taking advantage of women and children. This is America. It is. No land of the free. None. It's all lies. A dream been sold to many people. And the people that was originally here, Mexicans, were already here. There's no land of the free. It's a facade. It's a lie told by the white man. The white man that came here, they was from the bottom of the totem pole in Europe. They wasn't the best that was sent here. As Donald Trump liked to say about brown people that are sent here, they were not the best. The white people sent here, Europeans, were not the best. Because the ones that had money, they ruled in Europe. So they told you, you are the white race. You're superior. So you can come over to this country and do what you have done. And they get kickbacks over there. The people that actually run this country don't even live in this country. So the small people, Donald Trump, Kash Patel, Mike Johnson, Peter Thiel, the list goes on. They're small fries. They're small fish in a big pond. Because the big pond is actually people that do not live in this country. Donald Trump must pay for what he has done. Katie Johnson, 13 years old. Donald Trump, a full-grown child.
Yeah, some big news right now. Donald Trump and the White House are putting significant pressure on Republicans to vote against the release of the Epstein files. According to Republican Thomas Massie, who's been one of the Republicans pushing to release the files, they are telling essentially members of Congress that a vote for Massie's discharge petition as soon as today, well, it's a vote against the interests of the White House. And here's the thing, Donald Trump will likely put his weight against any Republican member of Congress in re-election efforts if they vote to release the Epstein files. Right now, there is a discharge petition in an effort to get a full vote of the House of Representatives on to force the release of the files. Yesterday, we got 33,000 files, but those files were already mostly publicly available. And I'm on my way to the Capitol today, where there is going to be a historic press conference with at least 10 survivors of Epstein's horrific crimes. We need to highlight their stories. We need to keep talking about it. And the White House doesn't want us to. So I'm going to keep doing it. So spread the word. Subscribe to my Substack at the link in my bio to support my work. And follow along, stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. I'll have much more soon. We have some big news.
Subscribe to Aaron Partners. He is one of the best commentators on YouTube. He's on Instagram. So go to his Instagram page and follow him there. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. There are several clippings about Congress. Our senators we voted for meeting with 10 of Epstein victims. Trump, not only are you ugly, but you are finally going to reap what you have sown. Maybe you would wish you were in a casket beside your first beloved wife. Satan has come to collect, Donnie. 1, 2, Satan's coming for you. Donald J. Trump. Satan's at your door. 3, 4. The ancestors are running after you daily and tearing up your soul. What's left of it? Donald J. Trump is a convicted 34-count felon. He sent military jets today to drown out the victims, the survivors. One of them mentioned his name. Oh yeah, Donnie, your name was mentioned today. Does it surprise the Americans? No. I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Believe them when they tell you they were raped. Believe the women and children when they tell you they have been essayed. Pray for the survivors of Epstein's and Ghislaine and maybe even Donald Trump. I love you guys. May God continue to bless you. Goodbye.